It is what it is. We're gonna make it through it.
Closer, please.
But I think Brett hit the needle on the head a little while ago. We need more diversity in this party. We're kind of the party of old white people too much. We need a more colorful party. We've been talking about it for a while. How are we going to do this? And I found myself in a situation where I'm now a candidate in Congressional District 1 for North Carolina. It's a district that is 53, I believe it is, percent African American. No way any party can win unless they can really penetrate that African American vote. And how do we get our message out to that demographic is the question we're looking at. The approach I wanted to take was to kind of look at it from old school and new school. Old school is a friend named Buddy Ferebee. He's in the back. He will come on second. He's from Eastern North Carolina, and he sees things from one perspective. The other perspective here is Fauconier. Corey's a rapper from Virginia. He's involved in the Libertarian Party of Virginia and did some really excellent videos for George Lozer, who ran for Senate in Virginia. How do we get Congress to work together was one of the questions that was asked in the last presidential the forum. And of all the answers, I don't think any was better than what Corey said in one of his videos. He said, when the third team comes on the field, everything changes. If you can't work together with three on the field, it's two teams against one, and the one that doesn't work together is going to lose. So we don't have to have a majority. We just need enough people in Congress, in the General Assembly, that there are three teams on the field, and they're going to have to deal with us. So with that, I'd like to bring Corey up. He had a rap video or two to show you. I'm not sure that's going to work, but we'll give it a try. And if it doesn't work, it's all his fault.
I'm probably going to walk up and down the aisle, so I may put the microphone down because I want to kind of blend in with everybody. My name is Corey Fauconier. I live in Richmond, Virginia. I'm originally from Queens, New York. I am the communications chair of the Libertarian Party of Virginia. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my story and how I became a libertarian. I've done a lot of community outreach work. Richmond Crusade for Voters, Toastmasters International, and Concerned Black Men Cares. Toastmasters International is probably the thing that prepared me the most to be a member of the Libertarian Party because it taught me how to speak. When I joined Toastmasters, what I wanted to do was learn how to talk to people that don't look like me and may not think like me. Because I still have to be able to communicate with you, even if we disagree, it's fine. But we have to have a conversation. And what the problem is we're not having healthy conversation. We're either yelling at each other across the aisle, we're yelling at people that may not be the same color, religious background as we are, sexual preference. Everything is dividing us. But we have to try to come together on some things that we may agree on. 7 years in Toastmasters, learning how to speak and network. And at the time, I really didn't know what it was for. But I think that they were planting the seed in me. When I joined Toastmasters, I'm a musician, so I'm not afraid to get up in front of people and rap and talk and sing. But maybe you don't like rap music. So I could be speaking in my language, but you're not understanding it because you don't believe or you don't understand what I understand. So there has to be a balance. In November of 2014, Rob Sarvis ran for governor. James Carr ran for U.S. Congress. I was with a group called the Richmond Crusade for Voters. It's the oldest African-American voting rights organization in the Commonwealth of Virginia. My mentors from Toastmasters called me and said, hey, Corey, we need help. We need to take an older political group and introduce it to the internet, introduce it to social media. We need to do outreach. And since you already do that for other organizations, we want you to come and become a member of the Crusade. Went to a couple meetings, people argued, nothing got done. After a couple weeks, I called my mentor and I was like, this is a hot mess. This is a waste of time. What are we trying to do? If we're trying to get in here and do something, let's get in here and do it. If not, I'm gonna go play football with my sons. I'm gonna do something else with my time because it's valuable. So the Crusade had a forum at Virginia Union University, one of the historically black colleges in Richmond, and I went with my sons, Ellie and Elijah, and we sat in the auditorium. Rob Sarvis and James Carr were the first third-party candidates to ever speak to the Crusade for Voters in a 60-year history. So I sat in the auditorium with my sons, and I just closed my eyes, and I listened to everything that Rob Sarvis and James Carr said. And of course, because the Richmond Crusade is African-American, of course, they're all Democrats. So I don't think anybody else in the room was really listening to Rob Sarvis and James Carr. But at the end of the forum, my 15-year-old son at the time looked at me and said, "Corey, Mr. Sarvis won. Mr. Sarvis won, and I want to meet him." I was like, okay. So up we went, and we helped put the chairs and tables back, because that's what my sons do. And then we met Rob Sarvis and James Carr. They talked to me about the outreach that the Libertarian Party wants to do to African Americans. I was already independent. And then through social media, I was connected with all the libertarian groups around the whole Commonwealth of Virginia. I would get up and have 50 tweets, 60 Facebook messages. And I just started making a cycle around the Commonwealth, going to all of these different groups. And by the time I met Rob and James, the campaign cycle was done. But I sat and I told them, I said, guys, if you ever need any help in another cycle, please don't hesitate to call me. In February of 2015, I got a call from Carl. It's spelled loser, but it's pronounced loser. So Carl approached me and said, "Corey, I want you to run my Senate campaign." I said, "Carl, I've never done anything like that before." He's like, "Yeah, but you're good at what you do." So of course, when we started putting the campaign paraphernalia online, everybody looked, they called me, "Corey, what are you doing? He can't win. His last name is Loser." I was like, it's all about the connection. It's all about how you flip it, what you do to it. So I wrote the song for Carl because Carl lives in Powhatan, which is a rural community, and I live in Richmond, which is an urban community. There are not that many African Americans in Powhatan, and Carl is Jewish. His family moved from Long Island to Powhatan, and I made the video as a way to show that I could reach a whole lot of people if I speak your language. So political action is what the Libertarian Party is all about, liberty and freedom. And I personally don't understand why more African Americans aren't linking arms with you guys, right? Because that's all we've ever wanted was liberty and freedom, and we don't have it. I sat in that auditorium with 200 other African Americans, but how come my family is the only family that said, yeah, we're going this way? We're going this way because this is the way. And by myself and my wife Mandy's in the back. Hi, Mandy. I don't always want to be the only African American here. I want to champion the cause of liberty and freedom with this party. I've cut ties with a whole lot of other organizations I used to work with, because to me right now, liberty and freedom is the most important component of what we need to do. Running candidates, doing community outreach, do some things in the community with young people. I do a lot of volunteering with young people. They see me in the schools, but now they're like, oh, he's a libertarian. Let me look at why he's a libertarian. Let me look at what Corey sees in this party and how it's going to change people and galvanize us and make us all stand together. We may not always agree. I'm going to tell you a story. I joined Toastmasters because I didn't think I could reach people with rap music. So after my 7 years with Toastmasters, I took a group of Richmond City High School students to Lobby Day on Martin Luther King weekend. We went to the General Assembly. We were hosted by the Democrats. The kids got a tour. And while the kids were on the tour, we did some lobbying for Second Amendment gun issues in Virginia, ballot access and things like that. We were leaving the General Assembly. And the gentleman was smoking a cigarette. And he turned around and looked at me, and he was like, "You're Corey Fauconier." And the kids looked at me. I was like, "Yeah, I am." He was like, "I'm Republican State Senator Tom Garrett." And he said, "I loved your video." He was like, probably 40 of those 4,000 hits were me and my staff. He was like, "It's wonderful." And of course, my sons and their friends are looking at like, "Who is this guy?" So he asked us, he said, "Corey, you were hosted by Democrats. You're a libertarian. Did your sons and their friends talk to a Republican?" I said, "No, Tom, we didn't." Come back inside. He invited us back into the General Assembly. We cleared the metal detectors. We went back upstairs. We sat down and had lunch with him. He talked to all the young people that I brought with him. He wanted to know where they went to school, what they like to do. He invited us to go parachute jumping with them. But the fact of the matter is, as an African-American libertarian, I get more respect from the Republicans than I do from the Democrats. But I'm living in a community that's 90% African-American. I mentor in the school system. I teach public speaking to middle school students. Why are my own people angry at me because I decide that I want liberty and justice and freedom for everybody? We may not agree with everything. Like Senator Garrett says, "Corey, I know libertarians want to legalize marijuana." He's like, "I can't do that right now. But what I can do is increase the amount of marijuana you have to get caught with in order for it to be a felony." That's a step. It's not what we want, but at least we're having a healthy conversation going both ways. And that's what I want to bring you guys. Reach out to any African-American, Hispanic organization. I know Nevada's on fire because I've seen the videos. I've seen what they do. And if we can take some of their best practices and spread it across the whole United States, think about how powerful we'll be and how people will look at us differently. They may not agree with everything that we say, but we've got to start having the conversation. And in my opinion, that's where we're lacking. We're not having the conversation, so we can't even learn from each other. I'm gonna give you just a little bit before I do my song. Right now, Richmond Public Schools has an $18 million shortfall. $18 million. Right now, my sons, Corporal Elijah Martin and Private Elliot Martin, they're ROTC cadets in Huguenot High School. There's 2 new schools built in Richmond City Public Schools. Huguenot High School was $64 million. They could have used that money and spread it across the whole school system. You have mold in schools. You have schools that don't have proper ventilation, but they built 2 new schools. It was a waste. I'm happy my kids go to a new school, but the offset about that, the issue is there are 40 to 45 students in each of their classes. 45 students. You're talking about high school. And then the other problem is that with the budget shortfall, they want to close 8 more schools. So what's going to happen next September if my kid's school is already 45 deep? How many more trailers are they going to have to put up around the perimeter of the building to house all of those kids? They want to put rival gangs from one community in the same school. So you're going to have Bloods and Crips under one roof. It's never going to work. School choice is not being offered to us. The governor just vetoed school choice. So now you're telling me, A, you don't have money to educate my kids. B, you won't give me the power as a parent to make my own decision about what's going to happen. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. And I know there's some wives in the room. Mandy is ready to move out of Richmond into the county because we want to make sure our kids get a better education. And I can't fault her for that because we want the best for our kids. I think if we could agree on one thing, we want the best for the next generation. So I think that's something that we can focus on. In closing, I make the music to attract people to understand that all rap music isn't bad. There's a lot of garbage out there. But if I can speak to you in your language and use the music as a positive vehicle or catalyst to get us all to talk and maybe get some people that like rap music to understand what this party is all about, that's what I think I'm put here to do. I appreciate JJ for inviting us to come out, and I look forward to networking with some of you after the close of the program. Does anybody have any questions before I start rapping?
Really good. Thank you.
Oh, the next video or this video coming up?
No, the next project you're gonna work on.
So I have a 22-year-old son named Eric, and what we've done is we've made a song that's called Marching No More. And it's been recorded, we're working on the video. The science behind it is that people have protested for so long. I feel like if we're really part of this system, if we're really Americans, we should be able to go to the state house or go to city council to sit down with our political officials and do things together. I don't think I should have to march anymore because subsequent generations have already done that. So Marching No More is basically me handing the microphone to Eric's generation. And Eric is 22 and I'm 45. We brought Eric up the best way we could. And at some point we have to release the baton to the younger generation. They'll drop it, they'll make mistakes, but it's their time. And we have to let them do their thing. And that's the basic premise of the song. My generation is saying, we've educated you to the best of our ability, now it's your turn. So I talk about politics from my perspective as a 45-year-old African-American, and he's talking to his generation that are 20-something. And if you guys follow me on YouTube, it should be up hopefully the next month. Any other questions? Mr.
We're
Perry.
going to run for office, Corey.
I have to get that clear from the boss.
Andy, when's he going to run for office?
I don't know.
Any other questions? Well, we're gonna try, and you have to do one thing. So, music and TV uses subliminal messages. So watch the Second Amendment subliminal message in there when it comes up. Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
I'm a proud libertarian. Republicans and Democrats are just straight Jim-Jabberman. They talk nonsense, the same old political thought to make a game unfold. See, my ancestors died for my right to vote. Dead serious, nah, son, this ain't no joke. But I'm not the 18th letter. Nah, I'm just trying to spit rhymes to make my hood look better. Education for my kids, jobs for my peeps. No need to rob or cut drugs in the streets. Live the life right, not running from the beast. Chilling at the lab, penning rhymes to beat. Say, yo, let me tell you about the LP bottom line. Explaining how I blended in my book for rhymes. And yo, on the paper, just running down the line. Close your eyes, pay attention. I'm sure you'll be fine. Service and car in on the LP ticket. I seen the debate, and yo, they sure look wicked. Nah, I'm not talking about the ale in the bottle. Passion for all rights, man, they take it full bottle. It's not who wins, but yo, how you play the game. Two parties trying to treat the voters like names. Common when the odds so hip hop can exchange. I'm speaking eloquent about busting guns at the range. This is the truth that you should want to get with me. Blood fires like I'm proclaiming new liberty. LPDA, third parties will say, I prove to you, you will lose this man. This is the truth. You want to get with me. Blood fires like, and I'm proclaiming new liberty. LPDA, third parties will say, I prove it to you, even the loser win. Yo, some can play 3 teams on the field. Underdogs usually keep it all the way real. Cause we don't really have too much to lose because politicians, we control the freaks for fools. Say, yo, they out the loop, so let's take them back to school. Try USA with libertarian rules. Reduce spending, simplify tax, bureaucratic bloating, wasteful of whack. Balance the budget, spend money for the care. The government is wasteful, that's really not fair. And marijuana is good for the people. The war on drugs is just wasteful to evil. Improve industry, legalize health, jobs for the people, money well spent. Lead by example, gains free trade. Our party platform, excellent and well laid. With the house of card purchase, you know what you pay. Well, shouldn't healthcare be the very same way? You went to the doctor, you thought you were ill. Well, wait till you get your damn medical bill. Then what reform, how about deregulation? More providers, lower price across nations. It's not rocket science, it's just common sense. Stop treating me like a stupid and dense. Support the freedom to marry, freedom to carry. Republican and Democrat opinions may vary. The true liberty is what the L for. And if you disagree, then shut the front door. Hey, yo, this is the truth, but you should want to get liberty. But fire is like, and I'm claiming new liberty. LPDA, the party will sin. I prove to you, even a loser is win. This is truth, you should want to get liberty. Blood fire is like, and I'm claiming new liberty. LPDA, the party will sin. I prove it to you, even a loser can win. So I'm gonna do one more, and what ended up happening because of my time on the campaign trail with Carl is that I noticed that third-party candidates really didn't get good stories run about them. You had a little blurb, everybody else got all the pages in the whole newspaper, and we got this much. So what ended up happening was I decided to start my own talk show in order to allow liberty issues to be covered. So we season it all in there. We have politics, we have music, we have community outreach and involvement. So it's a mix of different things. The name of the show is Talks Over Drinks. That was Eric's idea because I'm old and crusty. And the original name of the show was, he calls me Dre. He said, Dre, that's whack, Dre. I said, well, what do you want me to call it, Eric? And he stood in the room and he was like, Talks Over Drinks. And I was like, okay. So they did the graphic. MSB is my label. It stands for Manifest Something Beautiful. And I know I'm being recorded, so I have to definitely say thank you to MSB because they make all of this stuff look and sound sexy. If it was up to me, I wouldn't be able to do it. But this is the introduction to Talks Over Drinks.
Let's talk over drinks.
Talks over drinks. Talks over drinks. You can have a conversation. You can say what you think of 40 plus and still rocking to the hip hop beat. I bring it live and direct right here from Broad Street. I pray that my lyrics will find you well. Cause it's me, MSB, and a guy named Markel. Dwight J, so you know he feel. Right, indie musicians coming straight down. I got swerving beat sounds where the ones and twos, and together, united, we gon' bring it to you. We the RVA Rat Pack crew. So take your pick, Comcast and YouTube. No disrespect, I don't mean to be rude, but these other talk shows can't do what we do. I stay with the lyrics, some form of dread, dude. Difference of opinion should not be forced. We'll tell the truth, no dread when you get. Invest a few minutes, I hope you tune in, yo. Politics, economics, education. These are topics across the whole entire nation. We keep it 100, we can talk about that. Yo, tell your kids, tell your mama and a friend. Yo, it's Toast Over Drinks. Toast Over Drinks. We can have a conversation. You can say what you can. So, it's all about connecting with people where they are. Rob Sarvis and James Carr came to where I was, and since then, I've become a champion of liberty in my community. And like I said, JJ, I appreciate you guys for having us. And anytime you guys need me, we'll be here. Virginia's just a stone throw away. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Corey. That was terrific. Next person I'd like to bring up is Buddy Ferebee. I just met Buddy a few months ago. A Republican introduced me to him. At the time, he lived in Congressional District 1. The Republicans took that away from him, of course. But I got to know Buddy fairly well. In 1951, Buddy moved to New York. He's right out of high school. started making what, 3 or 4 times what your dad was making in Eastern North Carolina?
I made more in 1 week than he made in a month.
About 4 times as much. Encourage his friends to consider moving to New York over the next 20 or so years. He moved many people to New York. Better economic opportunity, better life possibilities. So he's got a lot of informal authority within the black community in that area. And he looks at things, like I say, more old school than new school. You got to look at things from all perspectives. So with that, I'll turn it over to Buddy. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Now, I'm not a rapper. If you're cooking rap music, just don't call me too late for supper. I'm glad to be here today. I want to explain that people that has not been taught. I live in Elizabeth City. It's right out of Alabama. 45 minutes from Alabama. My people, and I'm going to say my people, become a part. Everything was strangers. And a little help. But we made it. I don't want to see people of today, with all the things that are going on, and everything that's around us. Okay. And everything that's around us is going backwards. In my area of Elizabeth City, I'm 75 years old. I can't remember nothing has been done to enhance work or anything else that goes with that as far as making a living. Black people have to migrate to the beach, and they have to go to Virginia, to the shipyard, to the waterfront, to the wood plant, for just an average living. My God has been good to me. Very good. For 65 years, he has walked with me every step of the way. I can feel his presence. I'm looking for something and somebody to help people on the east part of North Carolina for a better living. My children, my grandchildren, my friends, these people have to migrate just to make and to pay their rent. The light bill is horrendous. The average person there is not making over $10 an hour, and that's only a few. They're working for $7, $8 an hour. You can't make it on that. Now, I have nothing against black people. Nothing I have against him. But all the allocated money that goes to the eastern part of North Carolina ends up in Charlotte. Something's got to be done. Now, the Libertarian Party, you are a little late on getting black people to vote. But it can be done. And I'm standing here today for you. I'm going to make it and do the best that I can do. I'm going to visit the churches, organizations, knock on doors, that it can be done. We have to fight for a living. We can't wait for somebody from the White House, Senate, to give us a helping hand. We have to fight. But we've been beat down and knocked down so much that we are in the fear factor. That's my daughter sitting in the back over there. She works at the prison. Okay? And she makes a fair living. But it's not enough. It's not enough. She had 2 side jobs that she has to do just to make ends meet. I'm looking at the children that are coming up, the grandchildren. children that have to migrate from Elizabeth City to get a decent job. You can't make it on 11 or 8,000 hours. You can't make it. So something's got to be done. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poor. But it's not because the money's not there. The money is going elsewhere. And this is what we gotta do this. Now, as color, I don't see color. I see human beings. Everybody is a human being. It's your color does not have nothing to do with who you are. You are human. Everybody has the same color color. I don't care because I'm black. Doesn't mean that I'm not a human being. And it really irks me when people overlook people that are good, have motives, have mindsets to do, have, and to share. Then your friend says, man, don't mess with them folks. They're cheating. Because everybody's killing everybody anyway. We were born killers. We were born killers. But we don't want to be together. My church, 5 years ago, my pastor come to me and he said, I got a new thing going. He said, we're going to visit every white church from the Weeksville and Pasquotank area on second Sunday. He went to 2 other black churches. And they said, okay, we'll do this. We've done it for 2 years. They've done it for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Then they backed out. We have to, you have to, forget about who's who and try to get them to see what you see, that the world has got to be done by us. It has to be. We're going to have to be the leaders. Your grandchildren. Because you're white doesn't mean nothing. Big money don't have no prospective person as long as they can use you. They use you. All of us sitting in here, everybody here not rich, I know this. We are struggling. So you have a few dollars in the bank. But we're struggling. You go to the stores to buy this. Wouldn't you like chicken wings? Raise your hand. Chicken wings. You can buy short thighs and drumsticks, 2 packages for 1 pack of chicken wings. And you know why chicken wings are so high? Because you go to 7-Eleven, they got them. It's finger foods. You only get just the little tip, it's gone. But it costs you $7, $8 for 5 chicken wings. I mean, that's highway robbery. You can't buy 5 pounds of nothing anymore. Flour, sugar, meal. It's a 4 pound in a 4 pound pack. Milk doesn't come a whole gallon. They are taking us and we are not fighting. You have to fight for your rights. You can't be scared because of who, where, or when. You have to fight. I'm asking each and every one of us, if you want to be a libertarian, you have to go to people and you have to put it on the line what you are running for, what you're trying to do, because people do not understand. I have many of my black friends say, man, you got to be crazy. Say, they've been doing what they want to do all the time. But I said, but the time now is for us to try to stop them from doing what they've been doing. They're robbing us. Men have lost their luster. Women have jobs that, more jobs, better jobs than men. You see the truck drivers. You see more women driving trucks. They got smart. Barnhill and the rest of the group. They put automatic transmission in the truck. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to drive a truck automatic. If you got to shift the gears, That's a different situation. But all you have to put it in drive, max on the accelerator, she's gone. And this is what they're doing. We have to stand up as a man. Take your wife or your next best friend and you plan together. You can't do it by yourself. But you're going to have to get out to the highways, the hedges, and the byways and talk to people. And let them know. Let them know that you're on their side. Because the fear factor of people, we're scared of white people. We're actually afraid. You could turn the television on. Where you live? Where do you live?
Richmond.
Richmond.
What's up?
Bad neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
They killing people 10, 15 times a month sometimes.
Yes, sir.
But you don't hear of a black man walking up to a white man and say, bang, because they're afraid. No need to be afraid of you. You're human. You understand? You're human. Treat us like we are human. It's not that black people are bad people. They're good people. But then they beat down so much that they're actually afraid. They don't mind helping. They don't mind working. But they are beat down. And it is specific because there's no jobs to be handed out to the young men that's not in prison. It's because there's no work. There's nothing. We have a waterway that comes out of the Mississippi that the barges don't have to worry about hitting the bottom. But the people of Elizabeth City has got it locked down. And I'm standing here to tell you, with your help, and I need help. You might not never see me no more because people are afraid to take a chance on voting with something they don't know about. So I'm asking every libertarian here today, I don't care where he is, who she is, let them know what the program is all about. We hear news on the television. Donald Trump, running, good man. But we don't know what the protocol is. We don't know. They bad back one another, but we still don't know. Once he gets in office, we can feel the sting. You know. But we have to do this. We're going to have to come together as people. Stop backbiting, stop hating, stop. No, I don't want to be around. If you don't want to be around, then don't be around. But don't talk about it. Let everybody be everybody. Don't try to control people. Because you can't control them. People have their own agenda. Let people be people. Let your children be children. Let them learn. Teach them how. Teach them when. That they can be satisfied or be in the world like we are in the world. My wife and I had a lot of children. A lot. We had 12 children. Yeah. People ask me, well, why y'all have so many children? I said, we didn't have a television. But I can seriously say, my children, they listen to EFA. When he speaks, they listen. And I commend my children. I've never been harsh to my children. I never beat one. I never cursed one. I never hit my wife. I never cursed my wife. I wasn't a saint, but I never done that. I never made them feel unwanted. I always loved them. They loved me. We always was a family. This is what you got to do. You got to take your friends. You got to take your neighbors. If you can, and talk to them. If you want to be in this election, and I commend JJ, he's working real hard. Larry, myself, we're going to work equally as hard. Now, I have some papers in my briefcase back there. I'm asking each and every one, if you can afford it, we're gonna be beating the bushes, and it takes money for gas to beat the bushes. To help this party, to let people know that you are about something. You understand? You need help. You're going into a place where the people don't know because they haven't been told. Everybody look at them as the big bad. But there's no such thing as the big bad. Humble your heart, your mind, your soul. And whenever you can reach out, because you need to go now. You need to go. Don't be hard. Don't be, I don't need them. Yes, you need them. If you want to be in this party, you want this party to be successful. Yeah, you got a man here that doing all that he can do. JJ, doing all that he can do. So I'm here to help JJ to try to weather this storm. Not if we can, if we do what we got to do and let God do what he got to do, you got a chance. You have a chance, but you can't do it by yourself. Now, all of you in here talking about what I haven't seen my eye yet do anything but blink. And most of the time it blinks it the wrong way. Big money has scared all of us. The 400 people that's been allowed that they have more money than everybody else in the country. These people are the ones that control us. Walmart controls us. If you need anything in the world, go to Walmart. Anything. You need a cat, go to Walmart. You need a new car, go to Walmart. You need a diamond ring for your sweetie, go to Walmart. It shouldn't be this way. Everybody in here should be able to stand on his own 2 feet with help, with a partner, or 2, or 3, and make things happen for one another. Just make things happen. And we can do this if we want to. Now, I'm sure you all in here in good faith. And in my closing, I'm asking you to do what your heart say do, not your mind. The mind is a terrible thing. It tells you what it wants you to do. But your heart says no, but you do it anyway because of who you relate to, who you associate with. Cut them loose. Cut her loose. Cut them loose. Now I'm asking $10 for each pamphlet that I got in my briefcase. If you can afford it, it would help me to buy gas. There's a lot of churches, a lot of organizations in this city. So if you feel in your heart, in your mind, you want to help me to buy gas, so that I'll be able to go whenever I get ready to these organizations, Monday nights, Wednesday nights, and Sundays. Most people congregate on Sundays. So if you can do this for me, I'll make sure that I'll do the best that I can do for you. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. That was terrific. I think we've got a panel now. Brian, you want to introduce these speakers? Lend me your ears.
We take 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. So ask the panelists to come on up.
We got to stay.